Hello everyone, this is Akim Benjamin connecting with you this evening, and I want to just share a bit my concerns as regards exam malpractices, which is now a real cause of worry, amongst our students. Look, the foundation of any country that is not laid on righteousness, once that is done, that country is doomed. We're talking about posterity here, and all we see with these young ones is that they've learned the wrong ways of doing things. Examinations would come, and either that they are so jittery or so lazy, or they just simply lack confidence. What they would want are what we call expo, what some people call orijo, some have called that conje. What does that mean? Leaked papers, leaked question papers. What will drive learners to do this? One, lack of proper preparation. It has been said that proper prior preparation prevents poor performance. Proper, and I'm going to take all those pieces. Proper. What is proper preparation? That a child was prepared properly. That child had access to learning, to teaching and learning that is correct. That teachers did what they should do. That content was covered in a way that the child achieved mastery, and that he or she was taught proper ways of even approaching examination. And this has to be done prior to the examination. All the support and the help that a child needs to pass examination should be done prior to the exam. It is not the period of exam, it's not the journey when exam is going on that you start helping the child. Of course, yes, you can help with proper environment, you can help with proper lighting, proper seating arrangement and all that, yes, but not helping them with the answers, not helping them. You're not helping, you are destroying them when you do that. Help should come prior to exam. So proper prior preparation. The preparation on the part of the child, preparation on the part of the parents, preparation on the part of the school, preparation on the part of students themselves. On the part of parents, how much help did you give your child? Did you, right from the beginning in the JS classes, were you painstaking? Did you take time to look at the academics of your child? Did you work with school? Did you collaborate with teachers to ensure there is progress with learning? Or are you the type of parent that was not there? You didn't have time. Children are our biggest investment. That is the truth. You cannot be too busy for the child. You will then be busy but guilty. Okay? And so, what we expect parents to do is to collaborate with teachers and with school to monitor progress, to ensure progress and to monitor it, the progress of learning over the years. Buy the books that the child needs. Ensure that support is given in areas of weakness. Point that out to school if they didn't say it. And if there is a way school wants you to assist them with with the learning of your child, you assist. Preparation. And all of that will prevent poor performance. That's how to prevent poor performance. That the parents did what they should, that the school and teachers did what they should, and that the child did what the child should do. But what do we see today? We see a situation where we see parents, because they lack confidence in the ability of that child, especially because they have not done proper preparation prior to this time of the examination. They go and buy leaked examination question papers. They buy what we call expo. You are an authority figure in the life of your child, that your child respects you so much. When you buy expo, for your child, encouraging examination malpractice, how do you expect your child to grow up with the right values? And I can tell you that you are breaking down the confidence of that child. You are breaking down his self-esteem in himself and in his capabilities. You're telling that child that, working hard, studying very well, is that no matter what he does, he cannot do well except you help him that way by destroying his self-esteem and confidence in himself. And then you get the teacher's help to solve the questions for him and all of that, or even get the teacher to sit for it. And so parents now buy the leaked examination question papers. Teachers who are supposed to do another authority figures in the life of the child, they also collude to do that. And then when a child is in church or at the mosque, and then the clergy is saying, no, people should not cheat, it's a sin to cheat, the child realizes that even the child of the clergy already has the papers, the expo. And so we're destroying the foundation of our country from infancy with this corruption. That's the beginning of corruption. That is where it starts. And we are saying it is time to say no to examination malpractices. Let us build the right foundation for those children and build a good foundation for our country. Let's rebuild this foundation. In Nigeria today, merit has lost its place. Meritocracy. The wrong methods, people who use the wrong methods to achieve greatness and success, they're the ones we celebrate. A society that chooses to celebrate thieves and venerate them instead of those who have gotten it the right way. You see, righteousness exalts a nation. Sin is a reproach to any people. There is no way a country can rise up and occupy its place among the community of nations without righteousness, starting with the foundation, with the children. Raising them to be responsible citizens, to be God-fearing, to be people who believe in doing things the right way. A father, a teacher, the clergy, all agreeing and supporting the method of corrupt methods of achieving success. What do you tell that child when he grows up and is occupying an office, maybe he's a politician or is in public office? that corrupt practices, they are wrong and they are bad, it looks at you and says, all the authority figures in my life supported me doing this as I was growing up. And so, what are we saying? I'm actually saying that we need to stop. We need to have a rethink as a people. Yes, examination bodies have their own issues. And the truth of the matter is that it is not even a recent thing. As far back as 1914, even though not on this scale, the Cambridge Senior Examination leaked in Nigeria in 1914. So it was like corruption and examination practice was born with the nation. That is pitiable. But of course, not at this level. Of course, education had come in around the 1840s, in the 1840s. But then by 1914, there was already a manifestation of examination malpractice in Nigeria. Well, by 1977, the West African Examination Council, with their WASC exam, had a major problem in Nigeria because there was a widespread leakage of their papers in 1977. And that led to the government created the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into why that happened. And then they came up with certain recommendations. That first of all, there should be another body that would be saddled with examinations, terminal examinations for secondary schools, so as to reduce the burden of WAEC. Well, that particular recommendation did not come into fruition until many years later when NECO was established. But the second recommendation that was made was to prescribe 21 years imprisonment for adults involved in aiding and abetting examination malpractice in Nigeria. 21 years imprisonment. And that became very heavy, and that stemmed the tide for a while. Unfortunately, by 19 so that particular decree, there was a decree that came up in 1984, Decree 20. As a result of that, because you see, government still vacillated on taking a decision on that particular recommendation. But by 1984, it became a decree, Decree 20, that 21 years imprisonment was the penalty for exam malpractice in Nigeria. What happened? By 1999, we had totally lost a sense of the gravity of that offense, and we reverted. The law was amended. That now the penalties were now 50,000 naira fine, 100,000 naira fine, and maybe three years imprisonment for that offense. So that represented a drop in our sense of judgment about the gravity of examination malpractices, so that children now, well, adults and all of that now thought, well, this is easier. The penalty was not as stiff again. So you have children, teacher, parents colluding. So there's a form of some form of exam malpractice involved in collusion to perform exam malpractices. Exam malpractice. And then you have some of them bribing officials. And why won't they bribe officials? Examination bodies send teachers or invigilators to schools, and they don't pay them until months after. And they expect them to go and carry out this very serious work of invigilation. So these people go year in year out, not depending on what the examination body will pay them, but on what they will get from the schools where they go to invigilate. So it's a terrible conundrum. So the teachers, some of them they go to such schools on water, using ferry. They risk their lives to go, But they know that yes, the examination body may not pay them, but they have enough to collect from the schools where they go to do invigilation. This is a big problem. So, hungry and poor and not well remunerated, yet they should go and invigilate exams. What do you expect? And so these are the issues. And we are where we are, but things has to change. Of course, this particular exam that is going on, we know the peculiarities of it because children have not had enough time in school. But that is not enough reason to cheat. If teachers and schools had done what they should before now, before the lockdown, and then the little time that the learners came to spend in school before the WAEC exams, it's enough to prepare children for teachers, great teachers who know what to do. Because that is then the time to do past questions and to, use a lot of past questions, expose them to how to answer questions. Yes, that's what to do. For great teachers who know exactly what to do to make children pass exams, to help them pass exams without cheating. So, we've talked about the problem. What then would we expect, would I suggest as solutions? Number one is the fact that we need to reduce our fixation. We need to actually reject this fixation on a one-shot summative exam that then becomes the ultimate test of the ultimate test of capacity and performance. The National Committee, Steering Committee on Assessment recommended that we should have a cumulative kind of formative assessment, continuous assessment that counts heavily in WAEC, such that SS1 you take 10% of their assessment in SS1, 20% of the assessment in SS2, and 30% of the assessment in SS3, all making 60%, so that children, by the time they are sitting for WAEC, have been able to cumulate their scores up to about 60%. So that what they are facing in the one-shot final exam is just 40% of the assessment. That reduces the frenzy that they have towards the almighty WASC. That should be done. Presently, what WAEC does, is to use 30% of all, so that exam is 70%. But we are saying that that's like other countries of the world who are moving away from depending on just one short summative exam determining everything that the capacity of the students, that you'll be able to take a lot of their efforts from SS1, SS2, and SS3, and that will count in their final results. That's the way to go to reduce the frenzy to want to get leaked papers. Then the next thing is this: we want to solve this problem. We need to involve the children themselves. We need to involve the children. We need to have the voice of the children heard in our schools. The Student Representative Council can do a lot in helping us. Children know how they carry out exam malpractice, and they also know the challenges they face that makes them do it. So if from GS1, for example, they've been taught, and there's this policy in school about examination, they know it. You are creating a culture of integrity from the beginning, working with the children, and they have their representatives who can tell the school the challenges they're having in which subjects, the challenges they're having with even facilities and resources, so that the Student Representative Council becomes one with a voice that can feed management so that you can quickly solve problems before they become too big and children begin to look for leaked papers. So that if they have a challenge with a particular subject, management can quickly fix that. If they have a challenge with a particular teacher, it is investigated and you can change that. If you really want to help children, you listen to them. These same children can have circle time in their classes and explain to their representatives, who then bring to management the challenges they are facing as per study, the pedagogy, the teaching and learning process, and then you can fix those problems long before WAEC. In some climes, students sit in when teachers are being interviewed, student representatives. They want to listen, they want to also share, they want to see whether that teacher will be able to do the right things in the classroom with them. We have not gotten there here, but we will get there. We must have the voice of the student heard in the process. They can tell us how they carry out the cheating, how they carry out the malpractices, and they can suggest ways to curb them. And those things will work. All right. And lastly, what I want to say is that yes, stiffer penalties for adult perpetrators and collaborators. 50,000 naira fine, 100,000 naira fine is not the way to go. 3 years imprisonment is too small. It's too light a penalty for those who are destroying the foundation of a nation. We need to revert back to the 21 years imprisonment, or at least some stiffer penalty that will be deterrent to this particular problem we have as a nation. And then we would have to enlist the society. The society has to be involved. Churches, mosques, and everything. People, we must begin to reawaken. We must have a reawakening of the culture of righteousness. Not just that, but the media organizations need to put the word out there every now and then. Jingles that will be telling the children that they should not, the evils of exam malpractices, and the dangers that it spells for them as individuals and for their future. When I was growing up, there used to be some jingles on the radio, in Yoruba, in different language. You use the languages of the people, of the children, to speak to them. I remember that there was one on Radio Y who would say, àṣírí ìkòkò kò gbọdọ̀ tójú ajá tú, àṣírí ìdánwò kò gbọdọ̀ tọwọ́ rẹ̀ jáde. That is to say that you cannot expose the examination questions to children before the exam. It was on the radio regularly. Those were the things we learned and we grew up with. Challenging us as parents, as teachers, as clergy, as students and learners, is that if you don't have to join them if you cannot beat them. You can be unique and make a difference. Say no to examination malpractice today. Let us put a stop to corruption in its infancy so that we can build a nation on righteousness, and that this country can occupy its place among the community of nations. This is Akim Benjamin, a child right advocate, educational consultant, and a social sector manager, signing out. Thank you.